Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Badou Jack and George Groves conference call. Your host, Kelly Swanson, will begin.
Thank you, operator. Thanks, everyone, for calling in. We're very excited about this fight, being on the undercard of the big high-stakes Mayweather versus Badou. Just a quick little homework here. The fight week schedule will be distributed tomorrow, and with that we'll run down a whole activity of fight week events starting on Tuesday with the grand arrivals for the fighters to the MGM. And now today we're here to talk about this exciting matchup with two great middleweights. And to do that, I'm going to turn it over to Leonard Ellerbe, Chief Executive Officer of Mayweather Promotions, to make the introductions.
Thank you, Kelly. I'd like to thank everyone for calling in today to hear from Badou Jack and George Groves, who will be fighting for Badou's WBC super middleweight title on our stacked Showtime pay-per-view televised undercard for Floyd and Badou, which will take place on September the 12th at the MGM. The Badou Jack Groves fight is presented in association with Team Sarland. This fight will follow the lightweight showdown between Johnny Gonzalez and Jonathan Oquendo, and will be immediately before our WBO junior lightweight title fight between Roman Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido. Of course, in our main event, we have Floyd facing Badou, and which will be a very exciting fight. Now, let's get to the fighters on today's call. I'd like to first introduce George Groves. He's fighting out of Hammersmith, London, England, and this will be his third chance of the 168-pound title. His only losses were to the hands of a great fighter, Carl Fox, and he comes to us with a 21-2 record with 16 big KOs. George, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Good to talk to everyone. Really excited about the fight. Now in the US now for getting on 2 months, preparing for the fight. So we're in a good place. We're excited and we're ready for action.
Good. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Badou Jack. He comes to us with a 19-1 with 1 draw with 12 KOs. He's Mayweather Promotions' own WBC super middleweight champion, and he's fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden. He's living in Las Vegas now. Badou, would you like to say a few words?
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm very, very excited to be a part of this huge event and, defend my title in my adopted hometown, Las Vegas. I'm ready to go.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Operator, could you please open it up for questions?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And our first question is going to come from Chris McKenna from the Daily Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, George. Chris here. How's it going? I just want to talk to you about fighting in Las Vegas and what that's going to be like against a Mayweather home fighter.
Well, firstly, boxing in Vegas is always exciting. I've boxed out there as an amateur and a professional. Always successful. But this time, obviously, with a substantial belt on the line. So I'm extremely excited. When you're a kid, you dream about boxing and headlining, and one of those feats is to fight for a world title in Vegas. And now I have a chance to fulfill that. Boxing at Mayweather, homegrown and such, isn't a problem. It makes sense that it's on a Mayweather undercard if I'm fighting, a guy from his stable. Just another fighter, another fighter to go out there and do the business, do the job correctly. I do not mind who it is. It could be anyone in the world. I feel I'll beat anyone in the world the way I'm training, the way I'm performing right now. So it's going to be even sweeter that it's one of Floyd's boys.
I was going to say as well, because it will be a big statement for you in America there's going to be shown, like, it's going to be massive over there. So it's going to make you a name in America if you can come out on top in this.
Yeah, no, it's a building process. And Brits have come over and tried to conquer America before. Can't forget there's an undercard fight, so these things can slip underneath the radar. Luckily, everyone is really excited about the undercard for this show, and likewise going to go out there and perform and make sure that we plan to steal the show. So, last time I boxed on Showtime, performed well, got good reviews. Same again this time.
Yeah. And can I just ask Badou what you know of George and what you made of his defeats to Carl Froch?
He's a very good fighter. Carl Froch is also a very good fighter, and he came up short. But that things happen in boxing. You get hit with a good shot, and that's it. But I'm a different fighter from Carl Froch. I got more hand speed. I'm a better technical fighter, in my opinion. But he not taking nothing away from Carl Froch. He's a very great fighter. He's a legend, But this is a different fight. So, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Do you think this would be a tougher fight for George than the Carl Froch fight?
I cannot answer that question. You got to ask George Groves that question after the fight. I don't know which is going to be the tougher fight, but I'm ready to put it all on the line on fight night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is going to come from Patrick Sheehan from the Sun newspaper. Please go ahead.
Hi, George. You've been a bit elusive, but obviously keeping your head down. George, can you just talk a little bit about what this fight means to you? I mean, third world title shot. You're seen as an exciting fighter, but now you've really got to try to grab that title off of Jack.
Yeah, hey Pat. I mean, every fight is more vital than the last, more important than the last, and has more to lose, especially once you've lost. So, I came back after losing last year and won the European title, became mandatory for WBC. No one more fight since then, and since then we've been rolling in, waiting for our opportunity to fight for the WBC belt. We knew it would come, so we were being patient with it. And, lots of stuff comes with becoming world champion, stuff to be excited about, but I ain't really thinking about any of that, to be honest, Pat, until after this fight. After this fight, then I'll enjoy it. But for right now, this is just a fight. It's a fight against a guy who we've studied, who I've seen fight live, who I've studied on tape. We've studied his mannerisms, we've studied his history, his past, who he's worked with, who he hasn't, his usual setup in the gym, his trainer. And, we conclude that, yes, he's a good fighter. Yes, you need to be on form to beat him, but we haven't left any stone unturned, and we are 100% prepared and confident for the challenge ahead. And for me, it's just a fight. Just a fight back against, it's a good guy, but a guy who isn't as good as me. And because of that, the pressure is always there, but nowhere near as much as what I've faced in the past. And I thrive under pressure to a certain degree, but this time it's nice. I'm away from home. I'm on the B side of the card as usual. Maybe not quite the underdog as I have been before in the past, but people consider it a 50-50 matchup. We're going to go in there and show people that couldn't be further from the truth. We're in a great place, and we're just ready to perform, steal the show, and arrive on the world scene. So all the pressures and all the excitement and everything else that goes with fight for the world championship, I don't feel any of it, because for me it's just a fight.
Are you not thinking about winning the belts?
We have got plenty of motivation up here in the mountains. We're working hard. It's been a lifelong dream to become world champion. But I feel like the closer this fight's come in, we're just concentrating on Badou Jack. He's the guy we're fighting, and I've been in plenty of fights before. I usually always do well. So, as I say, this is a fight against a good guy, a guy who is not as good as me. And for that reason, we're just looking forward to getting there and performing and winning. and then everything that goes with it.
How do you see the fight developing?
Without trying to give too much away about the game plan, we know Jack's strengths, we know his weaknesses. We plan to go in there, nullify his strengths, and expose his weaknesses. It's not as much detail as I'm willing to give away right now, but seeing as he's on the phone listening. But we're in phenomenal shape. You know, first week we came up here, I was in good shape and I was struggling to breathe because of the altitude, etc. But now we are flying. We're getting better results than we do back in London when we're out on flat land and more oxygen. So we're in fantastic shape physically. Mentally, I'm always there. We're going to go out, take the fight to Badou Jack, make sure he works for every second of every round. And from there on in, you know, the game plan will develop.
Right, okay, great. Thanks, George.
And our next question is going to come from Kylie from All Hip Hop. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My first question is for Badou Jack. I've noticed that George Groves, you know, he keeps on saying that it's just a fight with you. And also, arguably, Groves, you know, he's had his opponents, you know, they've been more well-known. But you have the belt. So does it bother you at all, like, that he keeps on talking about, like, it's just another fight?
No, absolutely not. You know, for me, it's just another fight. I'm not a trash talker. I don't get into all that, get into your mind and stuff. I'm staying focused on winning the fight. I might seem like a quiet guy and stuff like that, but come fight night, come in the ring, it's going to be a different story, you know.
Okay. And for George Groves, just like what you do say, like with this just a fight, and you've said also that, you know, that Badou Jack, you suggested that, you know, there's nothing that you've seen, like with Badou Jack, that isn't anything that you haven't encountered before. Is there any danger, like in some way, that you might overlook Badou Jack?
Well, I hope not. You know, I've been away from my family for the last 8 weeks. I've sacrificed an awful lot to prepare myself in the best way possible. So, you know, I haven't taken this fight lightly at all. As I say, we've studied Badou Jack. We've given him the respect to study him, to focus on him, to find out his history, and to find out as much as we can about him, to prepare ourselves to the best of our abilities. We feel we've done that. We say it's just a fight because ultimately, the sooner you come to fight night, that's how it feels. That's how it feels most times. But this time, especially, I'm in here with a guy who is now the world champion, but it's his first defense. So he needs to learn how to be a world champion. You know, they don't just come with territory. They don't just come with the belt. You need experience in that frame as well. So he's in a new situation. He's in a great situation before the first bell goes, because he's fighting on the undercard of his mentor, his hero, his idol, whoever Floyd might be to him. He's going to feel familiar. He's going to feel comfortable. He's fighting in Vegas. He knows Vegas. But ultimately, when that first bell goes and you're in there and it's just me and him, then he's going to have to consider, is he ready? Is he capable? Does he have the ability to deal with what I'm bringing? So, yeah, he seems like a lovely guy. He says all the right things. He doesn't talk about trash talking. He says he changes once he gets through those ropes. Well, we'll have to find out, because he's going to have to be on his A game, certainly, to compete with me on fight night. I do feel I'm the best opponent he's ever faced. I feel he's taken what he hopes is experience from his last fight with Anthony Durrell, where he talked about trash talking and having a hype before the fight. To a certain degree, sure he did, but it's totally different. This is someone who, you know, I've climbed to the top of the mountain. I just haven't found my belt yet. So this time I'm not coming back down without it. So we are fully prepared. We are very excited, and we're ready to perform.
Okay. All right, my last question, and this is for both of you, and also possibly for Leonard Ellerbe, and it's a bit of a change in subject. In the Olympics, now, there's been a lot of things that have been happening with amateurs in terms of with gender, and also specifically with transgender fighters. There have been some things that have happened where it looks like within the professional boxing ring, there are going to be more transgendered boxers that have a real pedigree. What are your feelings on that? Or do you have, would you have an issue fighting, say, with a transgendered man that was a woman that, was a Olympic champion before, as a woman? Or is that just not an issue to you? Is it just another fighter? Or how do you feel about that?
Ladies first.
Who's going to take it? Who's going to take that question first? Hello?
Yeah, let Groves answer that first.
Okay, because I'm asked because it's really something that's been happening. There's been also some legal decisions that have gone that way, and it looks like possibly very soon they're going to be real transgendered fighters. So is that something where would you feel comfortable fighting somebody like that, or is it just a fight to fight?
Why don't we do this? Sorry, this is Kelly. I'm not sure if they are aware of this issue or what particular fighter you're talking about, but maybe they can look into it and get back to you. I think they're really prepared to talk about the fight and a week away from the fight. Not to skirt the issue, but I think if they had more background, they'd probably be a little bit better prepared to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Understood. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I just
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Declan Warrington from the Press Association. Please go ahead.
George, I just wanted to check, did you say it's 8 weeks you've been training in Big Bear? And if so, what was the thinking behind that?
We've been here since the middle of July, and, I wasn't comfortable with coming all the way over to the West Coast on fight week because I didn't want to deal with the jet lag. I didn't want to come out 2 weeks before and then be jet lagged for what I feel the most important part of camp. So he says, hey, why not come out for the whole camp or, the best part of it? So we've been out here 7-8 weeks come fight night. I know the setup here in Big Bear. Abel Sanchez kindly allowed us to use his gym. So we've got everything we need here. And that's usually what the concerning thing is doing a camp away is there stuff you're going to miss out on. But we was out here last year. It was a good recce, as my marine conditioning coach would say. We sussed the place out. We knew exactly what was needed, and we got everything we like. And trained at altitude. First time I've done a whole camp in altitude, and we ain't going to feel the benefits for definitely have that proof until fight night. But still in a fantastic shape. So that was the main reason behind coming out so early and avoiding all these conference calls and interviews. You know what I mean? I thought I've held out for 6 weeks. I better make myself useful with a couple of weeks to go and get on the phone and talk about the fight a little bit.
Well, that was going to be my next question. This sort of preparation is completely different to the Fox match, where you're in front of the cameras as much as you possibly could be. Well, why have you decided to do that?
Well, the Fox fight was history in the UK. 80,000 fans, we know the story, but it was pay-per-view. I had to sell the show. I was the only one selling the show, so it was my job to make sure there's interesting news happening on a daily basis, weekly basis. People want to talk to you about it, and it's not just journalists or people from the media or TV. It's the average guy on the street. I've been recognised once since I've been in Big Bear, which is fantastic for me. I usually can't make it out the door without someone wanting to talk to me about something. So it's nice to finish the session, go and get your head down, relax, rest, do nothing, and then get up and do your next session. You know, it's a luxury that I can't afford in London now. So, but this fight, of course, is a big fight. It's a fight where we want to be prepared to our best ability, and we felt doesn't matter about the expense, doesn't matter about the commitment, about the being homesick, about anything like that. Me and the rest of the team fully committed to the task at hand. Came out, plenty of time to spare, literally, and at the meantime, been avoiding anything that doesn't need to be done. So.
You mentioned the expense there. Can you give us a rough idea how much it would cost? I mean, 'cause again, it's a big commitment to be away from home like that for 8 weeks or so.
Well, you know, I've got a trainer. We got a full team flying out to the States. We're staying in accommodation. We're eating for training. I haven't quite done the math yet, to be honest. Hopefully, the purse that Mayweather's put up will be enough to cover the camp. I'm sure it will. They're generous guys. And, but I won't divulge that a detail. But it's probably more than I earned in my first 3 fights. So 4 fights maybe.
Sure. Okay. Do you think you'll ever get such a good chance to become a world champion? Because there's a view that this is a very winnable fight for you.
Every fight's a winnable fight for me. And I shouldn't have any loss on my record. I've let myself down if I have. And Badou Jack's a good fighter, as I say, a very good fighter. He's boxing at home, or he's adopted home in Las Vegas, on the undercard, on his promotion. You know, the odds that are up for debate are stacked in his favour, but it's going to come down to the better fighter on the night, and I feel that's what I am. And no fight's easy. Every fight comes with something different to deal with, or a new pressure, or something else. But as I say, we've left no stone unturned. We're in a great shape, and I feel like I could beat anyone in the world right now. So it doesn't matter who it is. Unfortunately for Badou, it's him. He's in my way.
George, with your trainer, Paddy Fitzpatrick, there's been a lot of criticism for him since he became your trainer, which seems quite harsh because, as you know, it takes time for you to get used to each other. Do you think this is the fight when we'll start to finally see how good you two can be as a combination?
This might be the fight where people actually pay real attention to the good work we put in. You know, likewise, myself and Paddy have come under criticism since we've been working together, and people feel they have a quick solution to that. But the first fight we had together, we was only working together for 10 weeks, and I shook the champion of the world, and then had Matchroom and the referee take it away from me. Second fight, I was in full control, winning the fight, gaining momentum. Got hit with a shot that knocked me out, probably knocked anyone out. By Carl Froch's account, best shot of his career. You know, hold my hands up, or I probably should have held my hands up then. Fair play to him. He won that fight. Next fight against Christopher Brass. Never been stopped. Because I didn't stop him, I come under criticism. I threw 1,000 shots in that fight, and then I got criticised for having no stamina. I won every round, and we saw what Brass is like, because he boxed recently against Callum Smith and gave Callum Smith, a world of trouble. And then I fight Dennis Duglin, who's I think he trains out of Floyd's gym as well, and knocked him out. Had a bit of a slow start, but knocked him out. So it's easy for people to criticise because we haven't won a world title yet, and it'd probably be easy for people to praise us once we do. So we know we've done good work. We know we've improved. We know that in the gym, we're seeing what we need to see. So as long as I go out and perform, as I intend to, on fight night, I'm sure Paddy and myself will get a little bit more respect. And, but we don't really fight for that anymore. People boo you on the way in and cheer you on the way out, and then boo you again before your next fight. So winning over the hearts and minds and supporters and everything else of fight fans is a difficult task. You're only as good as last interview these days. So, I'm not too fussed about the general perception. As long as we know we're doing the right stuff in the gym, which we do, as long as we're winning, which we are, we're going to go out and perform and become world champion.
So you mentioned the stamina thing there. It sounds like that's a criticism that bothers you. Is that the case?
I would say it bothers me. Like to use it to my advantage, sometimes you can, you're never going to be as fresh in the first round as you are in the last. You don't ask a marathon runner, once he's finished his marathon, how do you feel? Do you feel better than you did before you started? Not the case, but at the same time, I always finish strong. I've been 12 rounds before in high-intensity fights, fights in which I've won, fights in which I haven't faltered. So it's nice that a few people in the media, usually with an agenda, will say something, and then it catches fire and everyone jumps on it. So anyone who wants to base a game plan around me around stamina, and hoping that I'm going to fade and get tired, I would never do that for any fight, because one day that guy ain't going to get tired, and I certainly ain't going to get tired. I'm going to be full steam ahead from the first second to the last, and we look forward to it.
Sure. You mentioned you're training at Abel Sanchez's gym. Does that mean you've managed to train alongside Gennady Golovkin at all?
Yeah, Gennady's back in the gym now. He did a media tour a week or two ago. He's a lovely guy. We haven't trained together as such. He's sort of in the gym finishing up as I get in. We have the gym for ourselves, which is, again, a nice thing for people to do. But it's nice to be in a gym full of winners and champions, Something I train in my own gym, so it's up to me to win, to, put my own picture on the wall. Something that Badou probably enjoys, having one of the greatest fighters of our era in the gym, although they probably don't train together. He probably trains before him. But likewise, someone like Golovkin, I feel, is one of the best in the world right now, pound for pound. It's nice to be around winners.
Sure. And this question for Badou. Badou, in England, there's a view that you're actually quite an easy opponent for George Groves. What's your reaction to that?
I like it. I was an underdog against Anthony Durrell as well. And, we saw what happened there. It's less pressure, So, I like it.
Thank you.
There's Anthony Durrell now. I can hear him.
Our next question is going to come from Jake Donovan from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to ask both fighters, being that this fight was originally scheduled for August 22nd, if the fight being pushed back 3 weeks either worked to your advantage or if you had how you had to alter your training camp. And I'll start with Badou since you're the champ.
Actually, it just helped me to get more time to get prepared, to get stronger and in better shape. But slow down a little bit. But we're ready to go. We was ready August 22nd as well. But we definitely ready right now. So no, it didn't really affect me. It was just a better thing.
Okay, cool. George.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting one. I saw an interview with Badou saying he wanted to fight on Floyd's undercard maybe a day or two after he won the belt. So we always had it in the back of our mind that we were fighting September 12th. Even when August 23rd was announced, even when Showtime were asking for quotes, we knew it was going to be September 12th. By the nature of the promotion, Mayweather Promotions, they can and they do announce fights pretty late on, considering the amount of time it usually takes to build a fight. So we were already set and ready to come out here, provided, in worst case, if it was August 23rd, brilliant. If not, September 12th, so be it. But yeah, as I say, we actually planned more for September 12th than anything else, so it wasn't a shock to us.
Gotcha. Okay, George, I want to ask you too, because I know you and Musa you were ringside for Badou's win over Anthony Durrell. When you came stateside, were you kind of expecting, as Badou pointed out, Anthony was the favorite in that fight. Were you kind of coming over here expecting to fight him next? And did anything about Badou's performance surprise you, or impress you, I should say?
Yeah, well, be honest, it was looking at the situation. It was they wanted to squeeze in a voluntary for Anthony Durrell before he boxed me. So I'd seen bits of Badou Jack, but I didn't know what sort of condition he was in going into that fight. So I assumed it was supposed to be an easy fight for Durrell. I think Durrell was very bad that night. Very bad. I've seen him box decent before in the past. For that fight, he was looking out the ring after the first few rounds. He was pretty clueless. He wasn't able to punch properly. He was loading up all his shots. And to Badou's credit, he took advantage of it when he must have felt like a big pressure fight and went in and won the belt. So after 5-6 rounds, I was thinking, Badou's probably winning this. He's probably going to get this. So we started watching Badou more than we was watching Durrell. And I think he boxed well. He boxed well. He did what he needed to do. I don't think he was in with a particularly good fighter that night. And then when it came up a split decision or a majority decision, you watch it back, Badou won overall, but there was rounds that were up for debate. So I think he done as great a job as he probably feels he did. Likewise, as I say, we study Badou. We know what he does well. Don't want to go into too much detail. We know what his strengths are. We know what his weaknesses are. We have to nullify his strengths and expose and take advantage of his weaknesses.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, both of you, and best of luck next week.
Okay, we're going to take a couple more questions, and we're going to wrap it up. Go ahead, operator.
Our next question is going to come from Steve Karp from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Please go ahead.
Hi, George. How are you?
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Look forward to seeing you back in town next week. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. What do you remember specifically about your one time in Vegas when you fought Contreras in Mandalay Bay 5 years ago? About the city, about the trappings of fighting in Vegas. Was it everything you thought it would be before you came?
It was a great thing. I mean, we used to do London versus Las Vegas as amateurs. So I've been boxing out there since I was 13 years old. So I've always dazzled by the bright lights and I've always dreamt of fighting out there as a pro. And it's been a natural progression. So, fighting Contreras on the undercard, I think it was Marquez Diaz, Mandalay Bay. It was lovely. It was great it was weird for me at the time, boxing at say 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon, being right down on the card. But it's just great. I love Vegas. I'm out there a few times a year for business and pleasure. So it's going to be just the same come fight night. It's a town that I'm very familiar with. I know my way around. I know what's good. I know what's to be avoided. So I feel fully prepared. I'm not going somewhere that I don't know anything about and have to deal with new experiences. It's great to have that experience already, to be somewhere that I'm very familiar with.
Very good. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Nice one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Our next question is going to come from Eddie Goldman from No Holds Barred. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. First question for Badou. Both you and George are coming back from losses that you suffered last year to get a bunch of victories and, in your case, a title. Could you talk about adjustments that you have made to get to this stage where now you're a world champion and now you're fighting to defend the belt?
The fight that I lost, it was more like a bad luck. I got caught with a good shot, with an electric punch, whatever you want to call it. In the first round when I was cold, I threw a lazy jab, and things happen. I called my old trainer, Lou Duval, former world champion. That's a very good defensive trainer. And I actually called him before the fight. I wanted him to work with me. He was actually going to help me because he was a southpaw, so I was going to fight James DeGale in the eliminator. So he was going to help me. And after that, he came back to camp, and I added him to my team. Him and Eddie Mustafa are doing a very good job, and I just believed in myself. I know that was just some bad luck, And you know, things happen in boxing. You can never overlook no opponent, and you know, one shot can end the night. But I bounced back well. I believe in myself. I'm strong mentally. I don't need to talk all that trash and stuff to to build confidence. I don't do that. So yeah, everything's good now.
Badou, what do you know of George Groves? He's probably most famous for his 2 fights with Carl Froch, but he's come back from that loss also. What do you know about him, and what do you think your advantages are against him?
I'm a more good-looking, handsome young man than he is. No, it's good. I think I'm a better technical fighter, smarter fighter. You know, I heard he said, "Oh, I got more speed, I got more power, I got this and that." Yeah, but the name of the game is hit and not get hit, and I definitely got better defense. So it's a 50-50 fight, and I think that's what, when you don't know who's gonna win, that's what makes it so exciting, you know. So I think I'm the better fighter, and I'm 110% confident that we're gonna win this fight.
Okay, and similarly for George, tell us about coming back from the losses to Froch and getting this world title fights. Have you made any adjustments or taken lessons from those fights that you can apply in this fight?
Well, the second fight certainly ain't going to leave my chin exposed. I learned that. My team, we'd only really been working together for 6 months going into our second Froch fight. So we've been together now, getting on for over 18 months now. So we're much more familiar with each other. We know how to get the best out of each other. I'm in a good place. Nothing's really needed to change. They talk about experience. You don't really know what experience you've got until you can apply it. And I feel I came back. I boxed Carl Froch in front of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, and then my first fight back was against Christopher Brass. Much lesser name, European title, lesser title, but a final eliminator for WBC, and that was at Wembley Arena, which is about 100 yards away, and it's only a 10,000 seat arena. So, I've dealt with the highs of boxing and what can be perceived as the lows of boxing. If you'd asked me, am I going to, sell out Wembley Arena as a kid, I'd be excited. But after selling out Wembley Stadium, it doesn't have quite the same buzz. So, I've had turbulent times. I haven't had to justify a loss with, I got caught cold or it's a lucky punch or whatever. I've faced it, dealt with it head on, addressed it, corrected it, we hope and feel. And this isn't a 50-50 fight. This is a one-sided fight. This is a fight where I'm not trash talking. I don't need to build false confidence. I am confident. I know what I'm capable of. I'm confident in my abilities. And because of that, we look forward to fighting. I look forward to being in a fight. Sure, Badou Jack concentrates on defence, but his defence isn't impenetrable because he's been knocked out and he still gets caught a lot. Some of the best defensive fighters ever still get hit, otherwise we wouldn't watch boxing. So, we're in a good place. We're ready to roll, and probably waffling on a bit too much, but we're very excited about the fight, and we can't wait to get in there and get the job done.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
And our last question comes from James Ancobia from Zoo Magazine. Please go ahead.
Hi, George. I was just going to ask, after your little mishap in June, is that the last time you trained with the Royal Marines?
Yeah, it's dangerous training with the Royal Marines. Everything's made of metal and they just want to hurt you. So, it was a little misdemeanor, nothing big. I never knew they were so efficient. Who would have thought it? So they rushed me off to get me checked out. Obviously passed with flying colours. But yeah, that adventure training course was unfortunately cut short, but it was good fun while it lasted.
Awesome. And then whilst you're out there in Vegas, I was just wondering, are you going to mention to Floyd at all about the 80,000 at Wembley?
I don't think I need to. I think he knows. He knows, because he's in there. He's hasn't thought about it and stopped thinking about it since. I don't. Probably not. I've probably got a few more things to deal with that week.
All right. And then last time, kind of spoke to you. I remember you saying it would be very hard to top that Wembley Stadium and coming out on the bus. So Vegas is Mayweather's last fight. Does this come close to topping that, just for the kind of magnitude of being on Mayweather's last fight?
Magnitude? No, of course not. No disrespect to Floyd, no disrespect to Mayweather Promotions. I'm an undercard fight for this fight, and even Floyd would say that this is not his biggest fight. So no, but it's a big fight. It's an exciting fight for me. Fighting for a world title, whether undercard or not, in Las Vegas, is what people all around the world dream of. So it's exciting for me. I've been spoiled. I've experienced a lot. I've been able to take part in a lot of stuff in the boxing career, and we hope for many more to come in the future. But yeah, from now on in, we're just going to play this one down. This is just a fight.
All right. Thanks a lot. Very best of luck for the fight.
James, nice one.
Cheers, James.
Okay, that was our last question. So, Leonard, are you on? He might have, I think.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay, if you want to have closing comments and both fighters closing comments, then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, you can let both fighters have closing comments first.
Okay. Badou, do you want to go first, champion?
Yeah, I want everybody to tune in, get the pay-per-view. September 12th, you're going to see a hell of a fight. I'm very excited, and we're planning to steal the show and, have a good fight.
Thank you. And George?
Thank you, everyone, for coming on today. Appreciate it, especially guys from the UK with the time difference. Hope you got what you needed. Thank you.
Hey, Leonard.
Just like to thank everyone for joining us on the call. This was a tremendous call. As a promoter and also as a fan, I'm very, very excited to see this fight myself. I'm very happy I'll have a front row center seat. This is going to be a very, very intriguing fight. And you have both guys who are very motivated. Both guys are really looking forward to September the 12th, and I can't wait.
Okay, great. That wraps it up. Thanks, everybody, for calling in, and we will see you next week.